Hello, hello, and welcome back to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on replay, I'm so great to be back with you. Happy Tuesday. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
It's so great to be here with you on this beautiful Tuesday. Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host. We're Winning Financial Pro, Forbes contributor, and a CNBC Council member. As you know, we are here streaming live on over half a different social media platforms. So jump right in. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself to me. I'd love to see who is joining us and where you're from. In fact, I see a lot of viewers with us say thanks so much for being here. Let's start off with how the market closed. And this is some positive information and positive day, triple update, in fact, because the Dow closed up 366 points. The Nasdaq also closed up 108 points in the positive, and the S&P 500 also in the positive, up 32 points. Today's market actually rings a seventh consecutive day of positivity, gaining over 300 points at the close here. The Dow rose was supported by better than expected corporate earnings, a little help from those at Microsoft leading the way with a over 4% jump. In fact, the Nasdaq also climbed in the positive territory, S&P 500 as well. Some of that was also aided by financials. Bank of America, Bank of New York Mellon also reported earnings that exceeded expectations. And so investors definitely, you saw some movement in that area as well. Morgan Stanley also saw some movement today as well. Investors are appearing to overlook some soft data coming out from the Commerce Department as the advanced retail sales last month in June ticked up just shy of, well, it was about 0.2%, slightly below many analysts' expectations. But this was sort of a combination of relief at the gas pump and moderate consumer demand for goods. This is seen as positive news by investors. In fact, we're hearing a lot of news of saying that we could be looking at a favorable economic environment, similar to the concept of the Goldilocks environment. Not too hot, not too cold. This could be exactly what we need as we go into the end of the year and into next year for the financial markets. We're seeing that positivity. 7 days, we'll certainly take it. And, we just, every little day of good news, we like to hear that. Well, welcome back to so many friends today on our different social media platforms. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. And other business news, this is something that was popping up sort of, you've probably seen some commercials or maybe even some billboards as you're driving around town. The big news is Barbie. Barbie. Well, let's just say the Barbie franchise is hoping that you buy a lot more pink merchandise sooner rather than later. Retailers and brands are capitalizing on the popularity of Barbie. Let me ask you, did you ever own a Barbie or a Ken doll when you were a kid? I certainly had some. I actually gave a few of them pretty scary haircuts too. But anyhow, that's a whole nother story. But Barbie is here to boost sales of discretionary merchandise. In fact, companies such as Gap, Aldo, Crops, even Bloomingdale's have now licensing agreements with Mattel to sell Barbie themed clothing, shoes, other knickknacks, I'm sure. So they're incorporating this very unique and trendy merchandise to attract customers and convince them to pay full price. This is on the side of retailers. In fact, Barbie merchandise is resonating with shoppers across generations and really for our older customers feeling that nostalgic experience. So retailers hope that this Barbie buzz will help lift some spending on non-essential items and the impact of higher grocery prices and a shift toward services. Well, just that news alone should make you probably, not spend too much on non-discretionary items, but it is what it is. It's a business story. It's a very interesting one. So the success of this Barbie inspired merchandise remains to be seen in terms of long-term customer loyalty. But I thought it was fascinating that Bloomingdale's is going to have a flagship store in Manhattan set up as a life-size Barbie box, complete with Barbie inspired apparel, accessories, and even a hot pink slide. Talk about a lot of pink. That is, in fact, the case. So I don't know if you've seen Barbie. I haven't seen it yet, but I can certainly, I feel like it's a summer thing. You know, pink, yellow, bright colors, very like lighthearted. Yeah. So anyhow, this collection of Barbie footwear and things, I guess they're selling on. I guess they're doing pretty well, and they're hoping that people buy more and more of things like this. You've seen sort of these kind of licensing deals for other brands as well. So it'll be interesting to see how well the Barbie franchise does. All right. Speaking of next stories, I know doll hairs. All right. Speaking of next stories, we're going to move on over to one of our favorite subjects on the show, and that is Elon Musk and the Tesla diaries will continue. Well, here's the deal. Tesla directors, now this includes CEO Elon Musk, as you know, are going to have to return, believe it or not, this is a whopping $735 million in stock awards and cash to settle a lawsuit which accuses this team at Tesla of improperly granting themselves excessive compensation packages. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like they're getting overpaid? That's a pretty big number. Almost $1 billion. Not quite, right? $735 million. But directors such as Larry Ellison, James Murdoch, Kimball Musk have agreed to hand back the stock grants and cash for exercise options, along with implementing corporate governance changes for board level compensation reviews. Wow, it sure did pay to be on the board of Tesla. And so that looks like it might change slightly. The directors are saying that they deny any wrongdoing, but they settle the case just to avoid further litigation. And let's face it, they're probably very, very wealthy already. They're trying to eliminate uncertainty, risk, burden, expense to the company itself. The settlement is pending approval, of course, from the Delaware court, and we'll see if this does become final. But the settlement comes among another case filed by a Tesla shareholder of another over $55 billion executive compensation plan for the one and only Elon Musk, which awaits a ruling from, of course, another judge. So, yes, lots going on, but let's just say those are some big, big numbers. Think about all the things that could be done with those numbers. But it looks like, Tesla's not having a great week, but it is what it is. I'm curious to see, did those numbers surprise you? I mean, in some ways they didn't surprise me, but certainly the combination is just, it seems like timing isn't great for those at Tesla and Elon Musk in general. Okay, speaking of things that cost a lot of money, let's talk about the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program and what to know and how this might impact your taxes. Well, Biden's $35 billion student loan forgiveness plan is said to not, it doesn't plan to trigger any federal taxes on the canceled balance, but state tax bills may still apply depending on your place of residence. This is reported as of my friends at CNBC. The student loan forgiveness is federally tax-free through 2025 due to the American Rescue Plan. Now, it's important to understand the potential state tax implications and when they need to be paid. These changes may still occur regarding state taxation of loan forgiveness, but I think, for those of you who are having a portion of your student loan or maybe all of your student loan forgiven, you really want to know, right, whether or not you have to pay taxes on their forgiveness. So currently, it looks like, at least on the federal side, it looks like you're going to be okay. So planning for taxes is, of course, very important for current and future loan forgiveness. And public service loan forgiveness has always in the past been tax-free. Now, there will be, of course, income-driven repayment plan tax exemptions, which is temporary, and then switching repayment plans may actually help borrowers minimize the future tax liability. So again, if you're not sure about the tax implications of your student loan forgiveness, this is a very handy recommendation that you speak with a tax professional or CPA. There's a lot of great folks out there who know the tax law much better than I do. So I think that that would be a good person to check up with. And let me just make a note because I have a lot of friends that are accountants, obviously. And this is usually some of the best time to reach out to them during this sort of season, right before corporate taxes are due and right before the end of the year. If you want to have some quality time with your accountant, this is the time to reach out. And if you don't have a relationship and you're looking for a relationship, this is also a good time to interview potential um, tax professionals to work with as well. Okay. So the recent round of student loan forgiveness is going to be benefiting an estimated 804,000 US borrowers, wiping away a projected $39 billion in student debt. Now this obviously result of fixes to income-driven repayment plans and whatnot. And it's been very controversial, but nonetheless, that's what we know so far. I'll definitely keep you updated if we hear more about taxes and student loans. But I will say this, if you are heading to college, congratulations, class of 2022, 23. I hope that you enjoy it. And most important, you know, take this opportunity if you do get this student loan forgiven, that save the money that you would be paying towards that loan and put it towards your future emergency fund. That would be really, really good. Okay. Now, this is sort of one more story that I think is welcome news. And this is that this week, SEC Chair Gary Gensler has expressed a concern about the impact of generative AI on the financial markets. So they are saying that AI needs to stay away from the financial industry. They're saying that they're just saying this new technology could lead to institutions relying on the same subset of information, which increases the risk of flawed decision making. So they're saying, maybe we really need to rethink this before it's sort of full on into the financial industry. In fact, the dominance of a few tech platforms in the field of AI models could limit diversity and accuracy of information used by various financial institutions and experts and everybody else involved. So, Gensler is comparing the potential risks to the 2008 financial crisis that we saw not that long ago. And he's emphasizing the dangers of centralized databases or models when it pertains to finance. So, I'm kind of curious to see how you feel about that. Do you feel like AI should be incorporated into the financial system, financial institutions, and even the financial advice that you receive? Or do you agree that you think the SEC needs to require more regulation and establish more resources and make sure that this doesn't go in the wrong direction? That's kind of the side I'm weighing in. So I'm actually glad the SEC is looking closely into this. Regulatory structures, they're saying, need to be updated to address the challenges and risks posed by AI in the financial industry. So we'll see. Always interesting. But it's great to be back with you. Thank you so much for those of you who missed me last week. Thank you so much for sending your messages. Since I did receive many of them, it was very, very important. Took a week off to spend with my family and my kids before they come back. They get back to school. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you enjoyed this show, feel free to share it with those that you care about on social media and tag me at Winnie Sun so I can properly thank you on this show. Just I want to properly thank Joshua and Vicky for always doing so. It's great to have you with us each and every week. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe. And don't forget, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And you can also check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you again this week. Take care, be well, stay cool. Bye now.